On a quiet Thursday afternoon in downtown Houston, 34-year-old Maya Roberts, a sharp, confident, and highly respected state prosecutor, was running a few simple errands during her lunch break. Clad in a navy blue business suit and flats, she had just finished picking up dry cleaning and groceries when she noticed a patrol car tailing her as she walked back to her car. At first, she brushed it off. As a black woman, Maya was unfortunately no stranger to unwarranted surveillance. But what happened next stunned even her. As she opened her car door, Officer Derek Coleman, a 15-year veteran of the Houston PD with a known history of excessive force complaints, pulled up behind her car, blocking her exit. "Ma'am, I need to see your ID," Coleman said gruffly, already stepping out of his car with one hand on his holster. "Is there a reason, officer?" Maya asked calmly, setting her grocery bag on the passenger seat. "I don't recall breaking any law." "You're acting suspicious. This area has had recent theft reports, and you match the description," he said. "What description is that?" she replied, arching an eyebrow. "A black woman." "That's all I need to stop and question you," he said. Maya's heart sank, not out of fear, but fury. She'd spent her entire career fighting for justice, prosecuting corrupt politicians and violent criminals. She knew her rights and knew what Coleman was doing was racial profiling, plain and simple. Still, she complied. "My edis and my pesa. May I reach for it?" Coleman gave a curt nod but kept his hand on his holstered gun. Maya handed him her state-issued ID, clearly showing her title, Assistant State Attorney, Texas Department of Justice. Coleman barely glanced at it before tossing it back toward her. "Fake badge. Step out of the vehicle." "Excuse me?" Maya said, stunned. "I said step out," he barked, now fully drawing his weapon and aiming it downward in what he likely thought was a non-threatening posture. A small crowd began to form. A local bakery owner stepped out with her phone, already recording. "She didn't do anything," someone yelled. But Coleman wasn't backing down. He yanked open Maya's door, grabbed her by the wrist, and twisted her out of the vehicle, pinning her against the car. "You're under arrest for obstruction," he announced. Maya didn't resist, but calmly stated, "You're making the biggest mistake of your career." He cuffed her tightly, causing pain to shoot up her arm. Maya didn't cry. She didn't beg. She knew how to fight this, legally and powerfully. At the station, she was fingerprinted, photographed, and placed in a holding cell. It wasn't until an older officer recognized her that the wheels began to turn. "Wait," he said, walking over to Coleman. "You brought in Maya Roberts, the state lawyer who prosecuted the Dixon cartel last year." Coleman looked nervous. "She had a fake badge." "No," the officer replied grimly. "That's her real badge, and you've just arrested one of the most respected prosecutors in the state." By the time Maya was released 3 hours later, she was greeted by a dozen reporters, civil rights attorneys, and, to Coleman's horror, her boss, Attorney General Elaine Ford. "Maya," Ford said, hugging her, "are you all right?" "I'm fine," Maya said calmly. "But Officer Coleman won't be." Indeed, within 24 hours, news of the wrongful arrest went viral. The footage from the bakery's security cameras and bystanders' phones flooded social media. The hashtag Justice for Maya trended nationwide. Civil rights organizations demanded Coleman's immediate suspension. During the press conference held by the state attorney's office the next day, Maya stood at the podium. "What happened to me wasn't shocking. It was predictable. Racial profiling is an epidemic in our justice system. But I will not let this go unanswered. Not for me, but for every person who doesn't have a badge or a platform." She announced a full federal inquiry into Officer Coleman's record, which revealed 14 prior complaints, most dismissed internally, but not anymore. With pressure mounting, the Houston PD was forced to suspend Coleman pending investigation. Days later, he was officially charged with false arrest, civil rights violations, and misconduct. The department was also compelled to launch mandatory anti-bias training and external oversight reforms. Meanwhile, Maya returned to work more determined than ever. She received hundreds of letters and emails from people around the country, especially young black women, thanking her for standing up. But it didn't stop there. 3 weeks after the incident, Maya filed a civil lawsuit against the Houston PD and Officer Coleman personally. In court, she spoke plainly. I don't want money. I want change. I want it written into policy that no officer can arrest someone based solely on race and unproven suspicion. I want accountability to mean something. The court ruled in her favor. Coleman was fired and barred from law enforcement. Maya used the settlement to launch the Roberts Initiative for Justice, a nonprofit offering legal aid to victims of racial profiling and police abuse. Today, Maya's story is studied in law schools and policing academies across the nation. It serves as a powerful example of what happens when power is unchecked, but also what can happen when justice is not silent. And as for Coleman, he gave a tearful apology at his sentencing hearing, claiming he had let the pressure of the job cloud his judgment. But for Maya and M,